Saying it would be easier to not make this video. And I don't have to make this video. I bought a brand new Honda Civic one time, and in the first 25 miles, I started hearing this awful banging noise. And I searched all over the car, and what I found was that the bolts on one of the rear shocks were loose. They just didn't get tightened up properly. That kind of thing happens everywhere. Honda's got a great reputation, but things still happen. Breaker 19, this here's a rubber duck. You got the copy on me, Big Ping, come on. I've always said in all of my sponsored videos about products that I get, and all of those things that I'll share with you when things go wrong or when there's something that doesn't work out well, because I just want to be honest. So, I'm going to tell you about a situation that I've ran into. And then after we talk about that, I'm going to get to work on framing this building. So I have lots of lumber already milled. I'm going to start with the wall girts and go ahead and start putting those boards on and tying all these posts together. I want to do that for stability and rigidity. That way I can start leaning a ladder up against this and putting headers up and things like that. So that's what we're gonna do to get started on that. But I've got to tell you, I just got my Bighorn 550 back from the company because we had an issue. And it was a pretty major issue. Obviously, you know, we haven't had this machine very long. It's got like 40 miles on it. Aside from the one day that I showed us, you know, riding this thing hard through the mud holes and all of that, we've been pretty easy on this thing. We use it to drive up and down our big hill. But one day, Caden was driving it up the hill, doing about 15 miles an hour, and it just started making a terrible noise. And I could tell it was something that was pretty major, and it might break something if we continued to use it. So we put it in neutral, and we were able to coast it down and put it on the lift and do some tests, and we figured out that this clanking noise that we were hearing was coming from inside of the gearbox of the engine. And so I knew, of course, it's under warranty and all of that. So I knew I needed to reach out to the company and tell them what was going on and get their input on it. And the folks at Bighorn were amazing in all of this. Of course, they immediately apologized and said, whatever it is, we'll figure it out and fix it. And not knowing exactly what was wrong with it, they said, well, I think the best thing for us to do is to just get your machine in the shop, find out what went wrong, and then we'll decide what we need to do to make it right. They arranged for all that to be taken care of, and it didn't take them like 2 days to tear it down and find the problem. And they actually had one of their lead engineers do the teardown on the engine to find the problem so that they could diagnose what went wrong and then give the feedback to the manufacturers to make sure that this is something that doesn't happen again in the future. I got a call from someone very high up in the company who said, not only are we embarrassed, but we want you to know that out of the thousands of these machines that we've sold, this type of thing has happened to fewer than what you can count on one hand. But what happened was, one of the main gears inside the gearbox, the bolt that holds that on, didn't get tightened properly, or probably needed some Loctite, in the manufacturing process. And that bolt came loose, and so the gear slid out, and it broke a tooth off of that gear. And so they repaired my machine. I told them I would like for you to do the repair just like you would for any other customer, and I want my machine back because I want to be able to report on, one, how it was repaired, what was wrong with it, and how long it lasts after they make the repair. There are two things about this situation that I think should give potential buyers of a Bighorn machine some confidence. One, if I'm sharing this with you, that means I'm going to be transparent. So if I have problems, you're going to know about them. Two, I want you to be aware that the company wanted me to share this experience and this story and assure you that they're taking that information that they learned from this situation and fixing the problem so that it doesn't happen to someone else. This is a pretty new machine. Sometimes you got to work the bugs out. It's kind of like buying the first year of a new car that hits the market. Some people won't do that because they know there are going to be bugs that have to be worked out. It's obviously an issue that could happen anywhere. I bought a brand new Honda Civic one time, and in the first 25 miles, I started hearing this awful banging noise, and I searched all over the car, and what I found was that the bolts on one of the rear shocks were loose. They just didn't get tightened up properly. That kind of thing happens everywhere. Honda's got a great reputation, but things still happen. And I think that's what the situation was here. And like I said, it would be easier for me to not make this video because I'm sure I'll get some negativity out of this. But the fact of the matter is, I want the whole story to be shared, good or bad. If I'm going to be demonstrating products, I want you to know the whole story. They fixed this machine and had it back to me in less than a week. So nobody else had to know, except that's just not how I operate, and that's not how Bighorn operates. I'm sharing that with you so that you know, and hopefully so that you realize that you can trust when I share information with you guys. So that's that. I've got my Bighorn back, and I was really excited to get it back because I love having the cab and the music and all of those things. It makes it fun to use. Breaker 19, this here's a rubber duck. You got the copy on me, Pig Ping, come on. So Caden and I got us some Cobra walkie-talkies because I'm always sending him down to the house to get stuff. And then he gets down there and I think of something else I needed. So I need to be able to holler at him. Plus, if he wants to come up here and work on his Ford or play around or whatever, then he can take his walkie-talkie with him. Well, that's a pretty smart idea. He's about to drive me nuts with him.
Hi, how you doing, Timmy?
How you doing, Timmy? Who's Timmy? All right, now if you haven't been around for our other builds like the sawmill shed, then you may not be aware this is called bookshelf framing. And we do this because on a pole barn, if you just put a horizontal girt and you don't support it with a bookshelf, well then your walls will flex in and out, and we're spanning pretty long distances. So this helps to kind of make it all rigid and tie it all together. All right, come here. Hold this on that line and hold it even with the front of the post. Nothing's ever gonna be the same, and it's good, and it's not.
Hit him with that kapow.
Crap. I'm out of nails. I didn't bring any nails with me. You're gonna have to make a run. I can put a screw in it for now.
Okay, I'm gonna give you your walkie-talkie.
Okay.
You cannot move from that one place.
You know where the nails are?
Yeah.
Should be in the barn on the shelf. So while Caden runs and grabs some nails, I'll go ahead and measure this last board out here and get it cut. Now I do my framing with nails because nails will flex and move when a building shakes in the wind and all of that. But screws don't have shear strength, so screws will actually break pretty easily. If you take one of these screws and you hit it with a hammer, you can just break it off, snap it off. And I think they make framing screws, but I prefer nails. So anyway, he's going down to get some more pass load nails. And they should say 2.5 inch on the box. Don't get those. We want the ones that say 3 or 3.5 inch.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you find the right ones?
It says 30-degree full head screws.
Yeah, but they are both 30-degree full head.
Okay, I'll try to find the right one.
It should say 3 inch on there somewhere.
I'm looking.
What you doing, Maple? You waiting on Caden to come back? He'll be right back. And guys, I can already tell you, the walkie-talkies were worth the money because he would have had several wasted trips that time because he didn't find the right screws until I pointed him in the right direction. And that's handy. You on the mic, what you beef?
What? What you mean?
I just saying what you want. You about here with my nails? This ain't the only good reason for having kids, but it is a good reason. I ain't even real sure what that came from. Probably an old TV show or something. You're holding it too high.
I can't see, bro.
Well, down. There you go.
Hold on.
Did mission retrieve inhaler go as planned? 10-4, over. Ten four. You cut it all over your fingers. Up where the board's gonna go. You there? 112 and an 8. Thanks, sir.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
All right. A bunch of stickers to clean up.
Yeah, don't hit the camera, bro.
I am putting the last board up, so here's what I want you to do.
Yes.
I want you to put the saw back in the side-by-side, and then get the loose stickers and put them away, then put the metal back on this and put the pallet on top of it. Got all that? Okay. I couldn't hear you, I was working. Lots of people make jokes, including myself, about Lowe's and Home Depot lumber. But I've just got to go ahead and tell you, you know, I'm a first-year sawyer with sawmill, and I'm learning how to do all this stuff. Move over for a minute, buddy. I want them to sight down this wall here. I don't know if you can see, but I've got a few bowed boards. And I had a couple that were bowed so bad that I couldn't even use them. And it all has to do with how you go about cutting your cant. And I just haven't learned all of the tricks. And some of this, I just was milling for fun and speeding through it. But it's not just as simple as throwing a log on there and slicing it up into 2x4s. I'm perfectly fine with this. This is an equipment shed that I'm building myself out of my own sawmill lumber, and I don't expect pure perfection. And, well, it's not gonna be, but it's gonna be all right. Mainly, I have one board here that I used, let's see, on, I think this one. The shelf was bowed quite a bit, and I used the girt to pull it together. Well, all that did was pull my girt in a little bit to where I've got a little bit of a swoop in my wall. And I might do something about that, but I also might not. But this is where we are so far. I only had a couple of hours to work this evening to try to figure out how I was going to go about this and what lumber I was going to use and then start framing. But we've got somewhere to be just around dark. So we're going to go down and get cleaned up, put all the tools away. And tomorrow's Friday, so I will have the weekend, hopefully, to get some more of this done.
We going to see Star Wars.
That's right. We've got a friend that has a nice little movie set up in their basement, and we've been going every other week and watching one of the Star Wars movies with them, and it's been a whole lot of fun. You know, some of us from church just getting together and doing that, and it's been fun. I will say, I've got a lot of headers already milled, but I don't know that I have all of them. Let me see here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 6 headers. That would give me the headers for across between each of those posts. So I should have my headers, but what I won't have enough of are 2x6s long enough to span that 15 feet. And I'll just be honest with you, I don't know that I need to be doing that to begin with. 15 feet is a long ways, but I'm bookshelfing them. So I may just do it and see how it turns out. I could buy some like king stud posts to put in there or whatever, but I don't know. It's just an equipment shed. And honestly, all I'm worried about with the sidewalls is kind of keeping the sunshine and the rain off of the equipment. They don't need to be that sturdy. We're never gonna like fully enclose this and insulate it or anything like that. But I have one really nice, enormous poplar log right here that we got when we did our road work. It's about 17 feet long.
And I'm standing on it.
So I do have the logs I need to mill pretty much anything I need to finish this building. I think I've got about 25 or 30 logs right now. So whatever we don't have, we'll throw it on the mill and make what we need. This is going to be really neat to see this equipment shed come together. And what it's going to give us is a place to store one of the tractors up here so that I always have something to load logs on the sawmill. And then in the other bay of the equipment shed is where I'm going to park all of that Mech-Max equipment that I use just occasionally, but I don't want it to get ruined out in the weather. So I'll be able to park it under roof over here and just, you know, keep some of it out of the weather. And then we didn't set the post for this yet, but we're going to extend off of here 20 feet and make lumber storage. That's 20 foot by 10 foot off the side here. It's just kind of a neat little project for our wood yard, and it gives us something to work on while we're saving money to get ready to build that house. And you know, most of this is not going to cost me much. I'll have to buy some metal, maybe, I don't know, I'll probably have to spend $300 or $400 on metal. No real major deal there. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed today's video, getting to see us make a little bit of progress on the equipment shed and give you an update on the Bighorn side-by-side. Now, listen, I was not thrilled when it broke, but I was thrilled with how they handled it and how they really wanted to communicate that, hey, we're not perfect, but we are going to work to fix any problems that we do have and take care of our buyers. And that's what they demonstrated to me, and I expect them to do the same for their customers. So I am impressed with the company. I'm impressed with all of the employees I've dealt with so far, and I really like the machine. So stick with us and we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep sharing the information with you guys. Well, until next time, get outside and enjoy God's creation, because
It's beautiful out there. Or out here.
that's right, it's beautiful out here. Y'all have a good day.